It's that time again. It's the Berkey and the Badger Board Game Babble Show. It's going to get wild. It's going to get wacky. It might even get a little zany. We're going to talk about board games and the board game industry. And, you know, we might talk about anything else we want to talk about.
Hey! It's the Berkey and Badger Board Game Babble Show. Welcome, Babbleites, to the wonderful show and the wonderful kingdom of Babblelot. You are with your rightful honorable ruler, King Berkey, and I'm the host of this elegant podcast, which is streamed live on YouTube, direct from Babblelot, where everyone is a board game enthusiast, from your humble king right down to the chamber pot crafter. This is a very important skill, to be a chamber pot crafter, but you are typically the lowest of the low if you do this. And speaking of the lowest of low, welcome my court jester, Sir Badger.
Why, thank you, Your Highness. Such an elegant introduction for me. Oh, yes.
Tell us how you craft the chamber pot.
Well, it depends on the weight of your purse. If you have a very hefty weight, we ask the local blacksmith to craft one out of iron before putting an element of some certain sort on it. But if you're a peddler, we just give you a McDonald's cup.
Oh, a McDonald's cup. No. I need a stout chamber pot to handle my lusciousness, let's say.
Your stout stoogies.
Yes, a stout, luscious chamber pot is what I like.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 65 of the show. You're waiting. We're going to have a quick talk about what's been going on in Babblelot. And we're going to do some roundup and rumors and things that make us go, And then we're going to go and do something we haven't done for a while, which is the good, the bad, and the ugly, our first impression segment, before we take a little stroll through the Woods of Evergreen to talk about the games which are still great for us from 2007. If you're in the chat, like Rick Orloff is and Ben Lunches is.
Hey, welcome, everyone.
Maybe you should list what your 2007 game is. The ones that you liked. The ones that you still play.
Yeah, we should do that next week's poll, huh?
Yeah, possibly.
Well, we've got other things to poll too, but
yeah, like the size of your chamber pot.
Yes.
If you want a 2-tonner or a 50.
I want a 48-inch by 30-inch round.
Okay, and then we'll wrap up the show with our Babble topic, which is to do with waiting. But you'll have to wait and see what that is going to entail a bit later on.
I know what waiting looks like at the airport.
Oh, yes. A little bit of snow ruined your traveling.
There's been a lot going on in Babblelot, and we just had a wonderful little vacation with the Queen and I. So the Queen and I went to the southern parts of Babblelot in the district of Florida beaches.
Ooh.
And so we had a bunch of sky miles built up, and I had some hotel points built up, and we took a few days off just to get away from Minnesota. Now, the fun thing about getting away from Minnesota, yeah, sure, you betcha. I'll tell you exactly how it is. When we're coming home from Fort Myers, we're flying home. This gentleman jumps on the plane, and he's walking through the aisle, kind of skipping and happy. And he says these words. He says, "So I can't wait to get back home to Minnesota." Said nobody on this plane. And everybody just roared because the whole week that we were gone, we had some extreme temperatures, 33 below zero for 2 days in a row in the evening with 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts, which made a minus 68 degrees wind chill factors. So
wow.
horrible, horrible cold. And it wasn't crazy warm in Florida while we were there. The 2 of the days it rained and was around 60 degrees. But when we knew what was happening at home, we were okay with that.
So in Minnesota with the wind chill, you said it was -60.
-68 below with the wind chill.
Okay.
Yeah, so you get the wind with that cold weather. Like today, last night we got about 3 to 4 inches of snow. We're getting about 2 to 3 inches more today. It's at about, I think it's -3 degrees right now, and we're having 30-mile-an-hour winds. So that makes it feel like we're 25 below zero. And, you bundle up and you jump in the snow truck, the plow truck, and move some snow and try to make the best of it.
That's incredible, because -3 Fahrenheit is -19 Celsius here. -19 Celsius is unheard of. I think we've had a -15 before, and I've been out in it, and it's very, very cold. But -19, I don't know how you live. I mean, and again, I don't know how you figure out when the weather is going to be bad, because for us, when it's 0, which is the freezing point of water, we know it's going to be cold. And we know there's going to be snow. So anything around 0, so 1 or 2 degrees, there might be snow. Anything below that might be snow. Anything below that, there's no snow. It's just cold.
Yeah, see, 0 Celsius is 32 degrees Fahrenheit, I believe. And we love that. We get out the T-shirts and our shorts, and we go roll in the snow, and we're really happy with 32 degrees.
Yeah. So in your head, 32 degrees is the point of freezing water.
Yeah.
Yeah. I find it easier. 0 is I don't know. Maybe it's just my European opinion.
So what's -23 Fahrenheit?
What's -23 Fahrenheit is -30 Celsius.
Yeah, that's what it is right now.
Wow.
But it was -68. So what is that in Celsius?
-68. This is where I can't figure it out. It's -55 Celsius.
Yeah, because it starts to meet a little bit. Kabuki Kids and those, she said they meet at -40.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
People think we live in igloos up here, and sometimes we do, but it's only for a couple months, and then Minnesota's pretty nice. December to March is the coldest months, and then things start to mellow out. And in the middle of all that, we've been doing something really fun. Is I bought a building for our company, Game Toppers. The company's growing, and we are wanting to manage our inventory in a really efficient manner. And so we're actually going to be managing our fulfillment ourselves. We had a partner that helped us with some of it, but we were doing a lot of the logistics anyway. And all of a sudden it made sense for us to purchase a building. And we have a 5,000 square foot building, and we're working on right now of putting in our racks, and we did some painting and all kinds of really cool stuff, getting the office set up. And that's been keeping us really, really busy. So we're really excited about that.
Cool. That sounds really great.
Ooh. Yeah, we'll be sending some pictures out and showing the new prototype lab, where we're just going to shoot videos for Game Toppers and all the new cool things that we're coming out with. We're going to be running a Kickstarter. We're targeting the first part of April, and we have tons of new things that are going to be so much fun. But I got a lot of work to do getting ready for that, and hitting the Gamma Trade Show and Dice Tower West.
Yeah, I should have done a video the other day. I was thinking about it. I packed the table away. It was nicely stacked behind me. If you can see, there's the corner of the bag behind my keyboards.
Okay, yep.
And I got it out, and I thought, I should film me unpacking this and do a box opening video. And then I'd come to my senses, and I thought, no box openings.
So what have you been up to?
Not much. Enjoying snow, because it fell to -1 degree here for a couple of weeks, which is really nice. But now it's jumped up to 10, which is, I just had a look. Today was 10 degrees Celsius, which is 50 Fahrenheit. So I've been out in a t-shirt today, walking around the vineyards, and it's been lovely. But But apart from that, I am working very, very hard on a new soundtrack for a game which a lot of people are starting to get into their hands, and that's Claustrophobia 1643. Monolith have contacted me and said, we want a soundtrack. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm very busy.
I jumped in on your Facebook Live while Joan and I were gone, and watched it a little bit on Facebook when you were getting on there with your piano and just starting to do some creation and playing around a little bit. That was really a lot of fun.
Oh, I didn't see you. I saw Paul Grogan was there. He was having a lunch break, and then he thought, wow, I'd rather listen to some decent music. But yeah, I thought I'd try a bit of live streaming just to see what it do. After Lance Meister said, you should do that, Barry. You should film yourself in your studio recording music. I'm like, nobody's going to watch it, because when I'm recording music, I'm doing everything in my head and on the keyboard. I'm not narrating everything I do. Oh, I need a bass guitar. I better. Oh, that I don't like this bass guitar because it does this reverberation, and that's boring. You just want to hear the music. And
yeah, people love that kind of stuff. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay. And as well as that,
they get in your head a little bit. That probably isn't a good thing, but
you know what? You know, the older you get, the more the straight line is in your head, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, I used to be like squiggly hairs everywhere in my head. It was like I'd go out on tangents everywhere, but I can't do that anymore. I'm just more of a straight line kind of way of thinking.
Yeah. Getting set in your ways there, Badger.
Yeah, and getting grumpy and miserable as well.
Hey, get off my lawn.
Yeah, get off my lawn. I don't have much life left to go and cut it every day.
So tell us about last show. We had a really super fun show where we had Derek Funkhauser from the Board Game Spotlight, and it was just so much fun. Derek has become a good friend of mine, and I just love the guy. Him and Lizzie and their young one. They're just these wonderful people, and we got to talk about some different things regarding top 10 lists in our Babble topic. You can go onto iTunes or Stitcher Radio or Board Games Everybody Should, and you can find that information. But we also had some information about different polls, and so why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I did a poll because we were talking about games that were released in 2018 and wanted to know what you, the public, thought of. Go away, Facebook message. Go away, Facebook message.
Go away.
Go away.
Off with his head.
Off with his head. So yeah, I did a poll on Facebook. No.
Cool.
I've got to edit this afterwards. This makes it really hard. So yeah, after our last show, we talked about the best games of 2018 in our experience. So I put a poll up and I listed a load of games which came out in 2018. I also listed a couple which accidentally were 2019 because we were talking about Wingspan, and Wingspan apparently is a 2019 game.
Okay.
Yes. So we had around 49, 370 votes, which is astronomical. And the games that got the highest votes, as if you can see from the live stream here, we have 82 votes for The Mind, which
love The Mind.
We all enjoyed. Excuse me. I'm choking on air. Ew.
And then 83 votes for Architects of the West Kingdom.
Yeah, amazing. I don't know nothing about that game, which is
well, I'm not going to talk about it today, but we've got our first play-in of that and really enjoyed that.
Okay, I've got 92 votes for Brass Birmingham.
Wow.
Which took up a large chunk of the votes. And
wasn't there another one that on top that had 82? The Mind, and what else?
The Mind. There was
Architects. And 63. That's a high one.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Jungle, or what's that?
Yes. 69 for Root. 63 is Welcome to.
Welcome to.
That's the drawing the drawing one. I can't think what the term is. Come on, help me out, people.
The roll and write?
Roll and write one, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Teotihuacan, 57. And Coimbra, 58. So it does seem
cool.
Yeah, not very surprising that the greatest games come flying through in the votes there, but
yeah, that's cool. Interesting to see Brass being rated that highly. I know Roxley Games, they've really been knocking out. I know that's an older game, but
yeah,
they brought it back in a really spectacular way with Lancastershire. Lancaster.
Do you say Westminstershire as well?
Westminstershire, and yes, and Worcester sauce. Yes, Lancaster,
yeah,
and then Birmingham. You know, that's pretty fantastic.
Come on,
right?
That's an American actor, isn't it? Burt Lancaster.
Oh yeah, Burt Lancaster.
Yeah, there you go.
I wish I had a voice for him, but I don't. Well, that's fantastic. We'll have another poll that'll come up, and we sure appreciate everybody joining in the poll. It's just a lot of fun to see what people are thinking. And before we go on to our next segment, things that make you go we just want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Academy Games. We're so grateful to have Academy Games sponsor the show. Uwe and Gunther Reichert have just done such a fantastic job with all of their games. And before we even had them as a sponsor, Academy Games had been one of my top publishers. I love their Birth of America series, the 1775. We've talked about it a lot, but Mare Nostrum, this beautiful, fantastic, epic, long game with this great big map. It's just they bring historical strategy games that they kind of fit that wargaming genre, and yet they're really strategy type of games, and they do such a fantastic job. I just got my Kickstarter copy that I backed of Tudor up there. I don't know if you can see it, but Tudor is this fantastic worker placement game with a mechanism that I think is really unique on how you control the nobles and move up the track, and how you sit at the table. You get you have this player board that is in the shape of a hand, and you get different rings that go on the hand, and depending on which rings you collect, you get different actions. So if you have the fifth and the first ring, for instance, you get to do this, and you get all these different combos. It's just very innovative. I really enjoyed the gameplay of Tudor, and you can check that out with all the other great games that Academy Games offer at academygames.com.
Perfect.
Things that make us go, Board game news. Berkey and Badger reflect on the current events that are happening in the board game industry. Some may be good, some may be bad, but they're all things that make us go,
Yeah. That cut out nicely. Well, there's something that's been making me go Okay. One of my favorite publishers, and they've been so for quite some time. They produce my favorite game of all time, and it's CMON. And CMON released a quarterly report. There was a bunch of hubbub back in the late fall about some of the numbers that CMON had recorded, and they actually talked about a loss that they had incurred. And basically it just says they listed a statement on their earnings of Q4 2018, and they provided some ranges of their performance. CMON had a rough third quarter, losing over $4 million on sales of $2.5 million, putting its 9-month results down to a loss of $4.1 million on sales of $11.8 million. Okay, so you look at that first segment, those first 3 quarters, and there was a bunch of hubbub on the internet. I saw several threads on Twitter and Facebook, and there was probably other places. And I really appreciated Scott Greta from from Renegade Game Studios. He put a quote in there, and he says, "Listen, everyone, relax. This doesn't mean anything. The biggest quarter is coming, and companies do a lot of different things at different times to boost their sales, or they're putting extra money into infrastructure or something that's coming on up." I see Aldi's there in the house. Welcome, Aldi. Good to see you. Hear you. So anyway, this yeah, whatever it is, it's good to have you here. So anyway, this 3 quarters of performance, it sounded kind of scary. Oh no, one of our favorite, one of our best companies, Cool Mini or not, they're losing money. What does this mean for the hobby? And people are knee-jerk reacting. But they came out with a promise. ICV2 actually reported that they have projected that they're going to have a more profitable 4th quarter. They also talked about in the Q4 that a lot of it had to do with improved shipping Kickstarter projects. So they also talked about that they had put a lot into infrastructure for the year going forward. Well, the thing that made me go about it was, first, how our community, we love our hobby. So we don't want to hear bad news, especially what some people feel like, well, is the bubble bursting? So that made me go, And it's like, sometimes we just have to step back a little bit and get all of the facts and get a better, broader picture of what's happening. Because you take a company that has good quality infrastructure like CMON does, and really strong IPs, really strong designers on staff. Blood Rage, for instance, came out with their Kickstarter for their digital implementation. Well, there's a ton of money that went into that to make that thing even get to Kickstarter. Plus, they're doing all kinds of add-ons for the game Blood Rage. And the subsequent sales after the Kickstarter from that product line is going to reap benefits in the future. And you don't always know what else they have up their sleeve. There's a lot of good things coming from a Cool Mini or not. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. But that's the thing that made me go, in the news.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, if people know about being self-employed or having your own company, you will have these dips. There'll be months when no work comes your way, and so you're putting out feelers, or you're investing all your money that you're earning immediately into the next step. Hopefully, Cool Mini or not are actually building a warehouse so they can print their own games. So then there won't be any distribution problems.
Well, that's the problem that all the board game companies are. They have quite a warehouse down in Atlanta also, but they're doing a lot of things to open up Asian markets. Their headquarters is in Singapore now as well. That's where David and Eric Lang are based, and they're doing things to do more emerging markets in the Asian sphere. That's something we don't talk a lot about, is what's happening in Asia with board games. We talk about Europe, we talk about North America, but rarely do we talk about Asia. And I'm sure that there's a huge market there that is going to be evolving before we know it.
Yeah, the probably whole of China will be turning eventually in a couple of years' time into one big factory, which is producing board games for this side of the world. And all these Chinese people will be going, "Oh, what the fudge do they want to do with this? The silly foreigners."
It'll be huge.
It'll be huge. Oh, dear me.
So what's been making you go,
Well, I've got 2 things now because something popped up on Facebook a little while ago. I'll start with that. That thing on Facebook which popped up is the fact that Mythic Battles is going to be doing another Kickstarter this month. But it looks like it's going to be a video game version of Mythic Battles. And Mythic Battles was a very successful Kickstarter from Monolith. And this made me go more than this made me go because I wasn't expecting a video game. I think they mentioned PC and Nintendo was the Nintendo Switch. So it's coming to all platforms. Practically. Very interesting. a board game going into a different realm.
Well, that's interesting because I noticed just a while ago they talked about some different games that were going to these digital formats, and it was between PS4 and Nintendo Switch, and there was several games that were going to be going into that format. I think Terraforming Mars might have been one of them, if I remember too, and I think Scythe was on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's strange because in the past it's always been older games that have been going on to these consoles and your PC. So like, yeah, your Monopoly, your Scrabble, and then eventually there was Ticket to Ride, and then it seems to have caught up. It's like Mythic Battles came out last year. All of a sudden there's a video game version of Mythic Battles coming. It's like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's great though. I mean, I remember back in the day when you know, I haven't followed video games in the last 10 years at all. You know, my last console was a Genesis. So, and I love that Sega Genesis, man. I could get after that. You know, but I had the original Nintendos and PS2, and we had some of that stuff, but then life got busy for me. But I mean, when Monopoly came out back in the day, before the greater hobby, you know, infused my life, I was excited to have games like Risk and Monopoly and different things, you know, on the console. And now for them to do these, it's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. So,
hey, Paul, good to see you in the chat there, buddy.
That was one thing that made me go, hmm. The other thing that made me go, hmm. Wow, it's not made me go, but it's like, we should talk about it, is the big award event which is happening here in France, which is the As d'Or.
Okay, tell us about that.
As d'Or.
As d'Or.
Yeah. Your ass is out the door.
Ass out the door.
Yeah, normally there's three categories, a bit like the Spiel des Jahres. So you've got your general public board games. The 4 nominations are Treasure Island, Shadows Amsterdam, Solinia, and The Mind, which is interesting. There's a good selection there. I've played half of those games.
Yeah, I haven't heard of Shadows of Amsterdam and Solinia.
No, shall I examine it? Because I don't know what it is either. Shadows Amsterdam. It's by Babblelot.
Babblelot.
And I need to research this. Maybe I'll insert something in the podcast, me going a bit into detail about this game. But
so this will be released at the Cannes Festival?
No, it's already been released. It came out in October last year.
So when did they announce the winners?
It'll be the end of February when the Cannes Festival is, which is, I think it's the 28th.
Okay, yeah, that's what I meant. That's where they'll at the festivals when you'll hear who wins.
It'll be Thursday the 21st.
So do they make a big deal out of this award? Is this emblem put on boxes and things of that nature?
Yeah, just like everything else. I think this award's been going on for about 20 years, so it's just as old as Board Game Geek, which is cool.
That's interesting because Board Game Geek just celebrated 20 years of board game, you know, content. It's like crazy awesome, right?
It is crazy awesome. So we have a kids category as well, and a lot of these games you probably wouldn't know from the States. Monster de Colore, Coloring Monsters, Mr. Wolf, Key Cafe. That sounds familiar. It looks like another game. I think it's like a different version of an old game. And Zombie Kids Evolution.
Zombie Kids. Huh.
Again, different games. You probably won't get them in the American market for the time being. But then we have our expert games, which include Detective from Portal Games, Keyforge, and Spirit Island.
It's 19 years for Board Game Geek, by the way. Aldi chimed in there and corrected my misinformation. He's been doing it for 20 years, but it didn't launch till a year later because it took him a whole year to decide whether to launch it and to buy the hard drives.
I think he was doing something
like that
beforehand as well.
Yeah, and I think he just I think he's very slow to move on anything, and so for a full year he thought about it.
No.
No, I kid.
It's the best
that's-
mistake he ever made.
Well, with that, I think we can move on to the good, the not so bad, and the ugly.
Yes, we can. Let's find those graphics.
Woohoo!
That's not it. That's not it. That's not it.
Is there a soundtrack in there?
There's a soundtrack. I've just pushed play on the button, and it's not working.
It's not working. Again, the wonderful pro audio edit that Barry produces will include nice production.
Oh! And no fader. So once you push play, you can't turn the volume up or down.
It just went up and down.
Yeah, but that's because
well, there it is. We've got the not so bad logo, and we've got a fleet of Star Wars ships, and the rebel says, "I can smell your foul stench across this table," and the destroyer says, "Just hurry up and move, will you?"
Yeah.
All right, so that's our not so bad. What is our good?
Did you send me them?
Yeah, I sent you all of them.
I only got that one.
No, I sent you the other ones too. You didn't get the ugly and the. You serious?
Serious.
Oh crap! It's in my outbox.
We're gonna go on a hiatus while the temperature drops to below.
Okay, here they come.
In the meantime, we have special guests, Kabuki Kid. Welcome, Kabuki.
Okay, they've just should be arriving in your email box.
Okay, I got to load up my email box now.
I think now it's sending slowly because we're live, and I'm sending it from my iPad. Thanks a lot, Kevin.
Yeah,
I did that a while ago too.
Oh, I just want to crack on.
Okay.
Crack on.
It should be there now, brother.
We should. I don't know. We should do something.
Do something about it. That's a something.
Yeah.
Okay, we did something.
Yay! I got 2 memes now.
All right.
Bear with me. I need to download them.
I'll tell you a little bit about what our rating system is. These are first impressions of the good, the not so bad, and the ugly. And basically, if we rate it good, we say we really like this game. We want to play it again. We think it's a good game. But again, we have it like fully vetted the game. It's not like we've played it 4 times and played it every player count or anything like that. So this is not a full definitive review. It's our first impression of how we feel about the games. Second category is the not so bad. We played it and it's probably a good game. Here's our meme that says the good. And then we have the not so bad. You want to put the good back up? I can describe it. The good, we like it. And there we've got a picture of King of Tokyo and Gigasaur, and the king is on there. Gigasaur says, "I like Game Topper." Yeah, good. I like that. Then the king says, "Thank you very much." So that's our good rating. The not so bad rating was the one that we just showed you, and we feel that it's probably a pretty good game. We want to play it again, but we don't know if we really fell in love with it at first impression, at first glance. Then we've got the ugly, and the ugly means it's ugly. And there we've got our meme. We've got King Domino on the topper. Oh, and it says we've got the little pawn saying yes. Does this color make me look fat? Just take the tile already. Yeah, well, that's ugly. Basically, if we call it ugly, we don't like it. We don't like it. We're not going to play it again. And maybe it's not fair, but our first play or our second and third play, we just said, it is ugly. You is ugly. So that's our rating system. And with that, what have you been playing, sir?
Okay, so we're going to do this bit of game style fun way of doing
do the game style fun way.
I'm going to do a kind of rough description. Let's see if Berkey can guess it, and see if you at home can guess it too. Yes, okay. Yes. This game is a sandbox, and if it was a real sandbox game, there would be real sand in it, because you're going to be walking around through a lot of sand with your character trying to do jobs. Now, those jobs might be rustling cattle, or robbing a bank, or digging for gold, or shooting bandits, or
I know what it is. Pick me.
I'm gonna pick you then.
Oh, pick me.
You were just before Ben, who was just before Kabuki. Kabuki, you're slacking.
Well, it has to be Western Legends.
It is Western Legends. Yes, a game where you take on a character. I think they're real characters like Billy the Kid and
Wyatt Earp
and everything. And they all have their own secret objectives, which you can try to do. And you're placed in this town. We played a 2-player version of the game. So there was an automated character, a Black Bandit, who was, when I say Black Bandit, I mean he was all dressed in black. Okay. Yeah. And he was causing havoc, taking out bandits and also taking us out. The game was a very, very open feel to it. I did feel like I could do what I wanted. It felt very thematic, because you were playing cards to activate special powers.
And you can even do some poker, some poker,
or you
right?
Save those cards to when you play poker, and you can actually win games. Gunfighting is done with poker hands as well. So there's 3 cards placed at random in the middle, and every player places 2 cards. And then you try and make a poker hand, and the one with the highest hand is the winner of the battle. There's no death in the game. It's really kind of, I don't know, it embraces the theme. It has some nice mechanics, which really kind of, they felt fresh and different, even though some of them weren't. It was a case of, I can move 5 spaces now. I've got this super horse because it's got a red cape. Because you can buy a horse with a cape, and you can buy a horse which hasn't got a cape.
Yeah, I got the horse without the case. I got a mule.
Yeah. So, it's a cowboy game for up to 6 players, but we only played 2.
Now, listen here, Pilgrim. I wouldn't push it. I got a touch of the hangover.
You have indeed, have you? I think Kabuki has as well. That's why she's a bit slow off the mark there. She's not very quick on the draw. So,
what do I think? I think you think this is good.
You would be correct. I do think it's good. I very much enjoyed, as I said, the mechanics. Very interesting. It's a sandbox game where you have control, which is one thing that I like. One thing I despised about Xayah Legends of Adris system is it's a sandbox, and then you're thinking, okay, I'm going to go and do this. And then you're rolling dice for everything, and those dice are not on your side sometimes, and you just have you don't do what it doesn't feel like a sandbox. It just feels like sometimes you're walking into a typhoon of horse manure. But in this game, it felt like I could do what I wanted and practically do everything pretty fluidly and pretty easily. It was really enjoyable. I would love to play it with more players, because the interaction between us two, he had the other player had a bandit. He was an outlaw. So
you can go on the outlaw track, or you can go up on the marshalling track.
Yeah, and I was just sticking to gold harvesting and getting money that way from selling gold and getting points that way and getting a reputation that way. So we were kind of like in 2 different corners, but I feel if there was a few other players, there's going to be a lot more interaction, and maybe someone stealing some stuff from another player. And no, Ben, we had the expansion, but we didn't know how to integrate it. So
yeah, they just had the a new Kickstarter actually called Up that came out, and I just backed a bunch of stuff on there too. They've got a new player board for the railroad track, and they've got more legends and a couple more spaces to go, new artifacts and things of that nature. They have a great big awesome game mat that has it all built in, and just furthering the experience. And yeah, I just think it's fantastic. Yeah, Kabuki Kid just said she went into the Kickstarter and spent $160 for it all.
Wow. Wow.
I really enjoy that game too. And
I might buy the game just so I can integrate the system into Desire and make Desire into a better sandbox game. But that's just my opinion. That's Western Legends.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So
that's from Colossal Games.
It is colossal. It's a colossal box with a nice standee as well, with all these holders of the cards. I really like that.
Yep, pretty cool.
And then there was
I've got a game that has one of my favorite themes, one of my favorite genre, if you will, almost. It's of a thematic. No. You remember that time when I was in my glory? They were shouting out my name, and then I read my blouse. Yeah, not that. But a lot of you know that my favorite game is Blood Rage. I love Viking-themed games. If it has a Viking theme on it, I'm generally in. And so, I mean, I don't even have to know about it. I'm just ready to back it just because it's Vikings. I love that kind of stuff. I love medieval stuff too, that kind of thing. So this is a Viking themed game. Production value that is really something. I think the production value is really great. You're moving boats actually and going into the shore. It's from a company that I won't mention the name right now because you're guessing, but it's a company that I highly regard. And pretty good. It's a reasonably good player time. You know, you can play this game. It says 30 to 60 minutes, but it's about an hour. So it's one of those lightweight type of Viking games. Hey, Chris Whitban's here from Game All Night. Welcome, buddy. And Paul Grogan's in the house. So glad you're feeling better, buddy.
Yeah, I agree, Chris. Berkey likes Viking games. Shock horror.
So what do you think? Do you have any guesses of what this game is?
No, not a clue.
Vikings. It's called Vikings on Board.
Okay.
And the game is from Blue Orange Games.
All right.
Says 8 and up, 2 to 4 players, 30 to 60 minutes. You can see by this back cover, I'll try to give you a picture. You can see that they have these little miniature boats. And basically what you're doing, it's an action selection type of game where you've got your little Vikings and you're going to place your pawn on the Viking on one of the action spots that is going to allow you to do different things to put influence on these boats.
Sorry.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
So, but these boats can be reconfigured to have more influence on them based on the number of shields that are on each one of the little sections of the boats. And you can move these sections to another boat. And then once they go out to sea, they go out to sea. And, you know, you're trying to get the most influence on all of this, of course. But there's about 8 or 10 spots. I forget how many exactly. And you're moving them, and then someone else can move there. But the order in which you put them really matters. With that said, what do you think? The production value is, I think, really fantastic. But what do you think I think about this game?
That's Vikings, and you got a thing for Vikings, so I think you think it's good.
Dun, 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 dun.
What?
You is wrong, buddy.
No.
And you're going to hear something from Berkey that I don't even know if I've ever rated a game this way.
Uh-oh.
I could be wrong, but Man, this game is ugly. I'm rating it ugly. I hated this game. I'm not ranting for the sake of ranting, but we played this game with my daughter Gabby, who I love playing games with, and Josiah, my son, and we played this game, and I was so upset almost the whole stupid game. And I wasn't in a bad mood or anything like that. I love Blue Orange games. They just make amazing games. New York 1901, I love that game, and I just think they're a fantastic company. And then the boats and the little Viking guys, they were great. I mean, it was great. But the way the game is designed, I mean, you were constantly getting screwed by not being able to put a worthless move and not really be able to see what was going ahead. And I just hated the game mechanics.
Wow.
This is from a noted designer. I played it once, so this isn't fair. This isn't a review. This is our first impression.
You may have played it wrong. You may have played it wrong. You may have watched some other idiot do a video because Rodney hadn't done that.
You know, it's from a very, very good designer, you know, Charles Chevier, Catherine Dumas, Chevier.
Oh, I love the way you speak French to me, baby.
Well, oui.
Yeah.
But anyway, just hated it. I went, I'm never going to play this again.
You're not going to try either? No?
I don't want to. I you know, it's been about a month since I played it now. And
it still haunts you.
I just don't want to play it. Yeah, it's just like I told Gabby, I said, I'm getting rid of it. And I said, do you want it? She goes, well, yeah, I kind of liked it. And I said, well, awesome. You know, good for you. And but I hated it. And I hate to give a negative thought, you know, like that, because I like to talk about good stuff. But I thought it was kind of interesting because I think the game probably has some merit at some level. It's produced really beautifully, but I just didn't like the gameplay for some reason.
Okay. Have you tried Raids by Yellow?
I haven't yet, but I've heard really good things about that.
I've played that once last year, and it was enjoyable. Very simple kind of family game, but it captured the theme.
I think I was just so disappointed with my expectations because I have high expectations from Blue Orange, and it looked so good. And I have limited gaming time too. And then you take the time, you invest in it, and then and that doesn't happen to me that often because I like a wide variety of games, generally speaking. So
yeah, okay.
So anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. But
no worries.
Anybody out there in the chat played Vikings on board? Yeah, crickets.
Okay.
Crickets.
Should we do another game each, or should we move on?
One more each.
Okay, no worries. Okay, in this game that I've played, you are on vacation and you are trying to assemble your memories of the vacation that you had by doing some kind of puzzle against a clock. Well, mainly against the other players, but you're doing it against the clock, and you are trying to, as I said, put your memories in order and create these beautiful images of your holiday.
Well, there's that game. What's it called? Not Game of Life, but
Life of Game.
Life of Brian.
Throne of Games.
Oh, what's it called?
Come on, Kabuki. Pressure's on.
I can't remember. It's slipping. Pursuit of Happiness, Ben says. I shouldn't be looking. Happiness. Yeah, is that it?
No. That's where you're living your life. That's not where you're going on holiday.
Okay, you're going on a holiday. I don't know. I don't have a clue.
No worries. It came out at Essen. It's called read the notes. Global Twister.
Ooh.
Which is a puzzle game.
Interesting.
For up to 6 players, where each player will have an image. It'll be made up of 9 tiles, and it'll be mixed up by the other players and then covered over. And then everybody will have one of these images, and then at the same time you will reveal, and you have this handful of cards, and you have to do a programmation of how to move the so it's basically like a puzzle, you know, one of those sliding puzzles.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
You're using programmed cards, and you put them in the spaces, and then once you've put as many cards as you want to put down or can put down, you cover over your image and you flip the sound timer, so the other players have got that amount of time to finish their programmation, and then everybody does act out their programmation by twisting tiles 90 degrees or 180 degrees and swapping the corner tile with the other corner tile, and you're trying to race to complete your image first. It's very light, very family friendly. It's limited on its images. You basically, it's one set of 9 tiles and it's double-sided. There's one image which is all the same through all the sets, but the other side there are 6 different images for the 6 different players, and that's meant to be a little bit of an expert mode. There's also some cards that you can remove, the programmation cards, which are, you know, like really powerful, so you can remove them to make the game harder, but it's just a light programmation game. And you, as I said, it's
programmation.
Yes,
is that like claymation?
It's a bit like master
programmation.
Master
Program Nation.
Master creation.
I love it.
No. So what do you think I think about it?
Well, I think it's too limited for you. And while I know you like those simple family games, I'm going to say not so bad.
Oh, you're the man. You're on the boom tonight.
You're the man. Boom, boom. You're the man.
It is not so bad. Yes.
Not so bad.
Yeah.
Hurry up and just move, will you?
We played it 3 times yesterday, my daughter and myself. And I won the first 2 games. She won the last game. As I said, we tried to adjust the settings, which is a good thing. You know, you can adjust the settings so make it easier for them and make it harder for yourself, especially, you know.
Handicap it.
But as Richard Rado says, sometimes you'll randomize these tiles and they will be totally upside down. And so it will take you naturally longer to put these tiles back the right way round. Whereas another player might have most of them the right way around. They're just in the wrong spaces. So, but yeah, it is fun. It's enjoyable. I'd play it again. I'd buy an expansion, even just one expansion with some different images, just to have fun with the game, because it plays up to 6 and it's very light and very fluffy.
Cool. Well, I've got a game this came out. I actually saw this game at BGG Con 2 years ago. This year, that publisher wasn't there, but I noticed it because of the theme. And what?
Vikings?
Viking theme? No, it's a theme that I really enjoy from a hobby standpoint. Personally, is in Minnesota. We're the land of 10,000 lakes, and so we love to go fishing. And this was a fishing themed game. What was interesting about it, it has a worker placement mechanism. It wasn't really upper Midwest fish, so to speak. It was different kinds of fish from different regions that are in the game. But this particular game, I saw it. I was able to do a really quick demo. My son-in-law is an avid fisherman, and I thought, I got to get this for him. So I bought it for him for Christmas. And then when we had game night at Hannah and Maddie's and Chris's house, we played it. Maddie came over to Hannah and Chris's house. And what do you think I think about it?
Well, I don't even know what game it is. I only know 2 fish.
Oh, I mean, what game do you think it is?
It's only 2 games that I know with fish. And there's Salmon Run and Killing Nemo. Killing Nemo? Is that game?
No, that's Nemo's War.
Oh, right, Nemo. Okay.
Fish span, gill span.
The master bass master.
Flying fish. Fish span.
Fish span. I was just thinking that wingspan and fish span.
Well,
Fantasy
anybody
fish.
have
I
an
don't
idea
know.
of what it might be?
No. Gillspan.
It is from the company Bellwether Games, and it plays from 1 to 4 players, so it does have a solo mode. And it's 40 to 90 minutes, which was about right. And it's called Cold Water Crown.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't have the box here because I gave it to my son-in-law, but we're actually going up to Alexandria tomorrow. We've got a snowstorm going on right now, so we can't go today, but we're going to go tomorrow night, and we're going to play it again. This particular game, we played 4 players, so it was Chris and Hannah, Maddie, and myself.
So you got a few acres of snow there.
Yeah, a few acres of snow. A few buckets of snow. Let's put it that way. You should see my deck. You would not believe how much snow is out there.
Cold water.
Cold water crown. Cold water is one word.
Oh, it's one word. That's why Board Game Geek can't find it.
I'm understanding that there's a new expansion coming out for the game as well. But you have these 4 different regions on the board, and there are 4 different varieties of fish. Well, if you collect certain varieties of fish, you're going to get extra points at the end game. But it has a unique worker placement mechanism where you have your tiles, and on one side it has one pitcher, and on the other side it has 2 pitchers. So when you first put it up there, you're going to get 1 action, but then your next one you're going to put, and it's going to have 2 actions.
Sorry.
You know how hard it is for me to explain anything in the first place.
Recommended games under our Cold Water King is Wingspan.
Oh, good God.
Sorry.
Okay, find it. Cold Water Crown review with Z Garcia. There's one.
Yeah.
There it is. You got it.
We're going to watch it together, are we?
Let's just watch Z talk about this game. Yeah. Hey, it's rated 7.4 on Board Game Geek.
Wow.
2017 released. No, go back there. I gotta read this.
Sorry, you don't want to look at me anymore.
Well, you're beautiful, but
Paul was starting to feel bad again, so I thought I'd.
Well, you're a little fishy.
Cheer him up.
Wings coming out of your ears. So, so anyway, you've got this worker placement mechanism where you put one tile up, but then your second action, on the next turn, you're gonna get 2 actions, and so, but you can only go to a place that's available, of course, but the way that works back and forth is really cool. I've not quite seen a game do that like that. And so you got a little bit of set collection. You've got a little bit of interest that way. We just thought it was fantastic. So I didn't even ask you, what do you think I think it is? Did I?
You think it's fantastic? Oh, we haven't got a rating for that. Oh. So I believe you think it's good.
Excuse me. It's good.
Yay!
I screwed that one up big time, didn't I?
Yeah, don't worry. I put you off. Sorry.
Yeah, I just think it's a great game. I can't wait to play it again. I can't wait to get the expansion. The graphics look fantastic on the game as well. Really like the gameplay. Just really a lot of fun. Easy to learn, too.
Cool. A worker placement fishing game.
So what is your last game?
You've had my last game.
Oh, you just did 2?
Yeah, I did 2.
I did 2 and you did 2. So we're off. We want to thank our sponsor. Our other sponsor is Arcane Wonders, the makers of the great Dice Tower Essential Games. These are games that Tom Vassell has recommended that Arcane Wonders produces. Recently, they were just on the Dice Tower cruise, in fact, and Arcane Wonders donated a copy of their hit mech on mech game called Critical Mass. This is just this really fun back and forth game that you can play 2-player or 4-player. I think 2-player is the best way personally, but they're going to be coming out with new mechs, This particular game is really something. And Arcane Wonders graciously donated a copy to every person that was on the Dice Tower cruise, which I thought that was pretty cool of them. They've done a really great job with some of the Dice Tower essentials. Onitama is such a great game. The Sheriff of Nottingham, of course, and Royals. But they also have several other games in their catalog. Mage Wars, of course, and Mage Wars Academy, and then Spoils of War, great Viking Liar's Dice on steroids that I just love. Spoils of War at 5 players, or even doubling 2 games to play 10 players. And we've had a blast doing that kind of thing before. So you can check out Arcane Wonders and the great games that they have at arcanewonders.com.
Great pause. Sorry for the squeaky chair. It's not my
right in the middle of my presentation.
Sorry, dude. Okay.
Just all you got to do is tighten your butt cheeks, and that'll keep your chair from moving. So just squeeze, and then no creaks.
No, the chair is old. This chair is probably about 15 years old. No,
well, they have something called grease. Also.
How long have I been married? 13 years old. There you go.
Well, just put some grease in it. Put some grease in it, in the springs, some silicone, something like that.
I'll put some grease in it.
So we're going to move on to our next segment, the Woods of Evergreen. And we're going to talk about those memorable games that have stood the test of time in our Woods of Evergreen. We're talking this time about games that are from 2007.
2007.
Yeah.
And
WD-40. They're all telling you.
This wouldn't be possible without the help of Board Game Geek, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to look through all my board games to find out what the dates were when they were made. So thank you, Board Game Geek. Games from 2007. So here we are in the forest. It's not forest. So again, rewind. Here we are in the Woods of Evergreen, looking over these wonderful, beautiful games, which still hold a place. They're still growing as well. Look at that one there. The leaves on there look like Monopoly money. And that one over there, that's my favorite tree. That's actually from Game of Thrones. Yeah, but anyhow, yeah, so we're looking at the section of the forest which was grown in 2007. This cardboard has been in your house since 2007. Can you imagine? Well, actually, I've got cardboard here which dates back further than that. Wow. I got Masterpiece. That was from 1972, I think. Before I was born. It's before I was born. But I don't think there were many good games from 1972.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna
actually go through and we're gonna talk about our top 3, or we're just gonna list 3 games from 2007 that we feel stand the test of time. They've made it into the Woods of Evergreen and are there for the picking. And so they're still in our collections and that type of thing. And when we do the cycle and come around to 2020, 21, whatever, we'll go right back and redo this list, because there's a lot of games in these different years that we feel would be in the Woods of Evergreen.
Yeah. And just think, by the time we get to 2018, there'll be too many games for us. We'll have to do episode after episode after episode.
Well, and it's because in 2007 they keep making games. They're still making 2007 games now.
Yeah, precisely, and they're still selling really well as well.
Yeah, and every year they keep making them. 2008 they make games too.
I've just seen an expansion for one of these games on my list. Actually, it's just come out. Seriously,
really?
Funforge is releasing an expansion for one of the games on my list. I saw a picture on Facebook today.
Well, tell us, what game is it? Okay.
I'll start with this right at the top of the list. It's one of the ones in the top 20 of board games on Board Game Geek, and that's Agricola.
Agricola!
Yeah, I still don't have any of the other games like Caverna or the other one, the Viking one. I don't feel that I need to, because I love I love this version. I love this game, and I've pimped it as well. I've got a nice foam core insert from Insert here.
You've tricked it out.
I've tricked it out, and I've got all the pieces. So the wood pieces that like wood, and the brick pieces that like wood. They're not discs; they're pieces of wood.
Do you have like the Stonemaier games treasure chest?
They're just wooden pieces, which I bought from Board Game Extras, which is based in my hometown back in England.
Yes, yes. Well, the lowly people have to make do.
Yes, I love playing this game. Unfortunately, I tried playing it last week. We started a game, and then our little Robin woke up, and we had to stop playing. I love Agricola. It is pretty much one-sided because you're all going for the same kind of equilibrium on your farm to get the most points possible, and you're fighting over the resources, and so it's timing and outthinking the other players and coming at things from a different way. We were actually for the first time playing with the cards, because we always play the family version, because my daughter's been 8 when she's played it, she's been 9 when she's played it, she's been 10 when she played it. Now she can read French, and so can I. we can play with the cards, so we can get the jobs and we can get the upgrades, which is one thing I've been looking forward to, and hopefully we'll have a chance to play it again. I like farming games. I like worker placement. This game is a classic, and as I said, there's an expansion coming out from Funforge, a new deck of cards to go with Agricola.
Huh. Yeah, I know Tony Topper from the Secret Cabal. He loves Agricola. I was less of a fan of Agricola. It was okay. I love Uwe Rosenberg games, but when Caverna came out, I absolutely adored Caverna. And then when Feast of Odin came out, oh my goodness, I love that game. And so I love the Caverna. You might want to give it a try too, because
I might just jump straight to Feast of Odin.
Yeah, Feast is a little bit different. I mean, I think there's like 68 or 80 worker placement spots, so it feels overwhelming just at first, but it's really not once you start to play that game. But you have that Tetris thing going on to fill up your board, which I really like, but it's totally different than what Agricola and Caverna are. Okay. And I think it's a little easier to feed your people and do extra neat things in Caverna.
It's easy to feed people in Agricola. I don't know what people complaining about.
Yeah, feed your people. I'm trying to remember. I have it. Fields of Arla.
Oh yeah,
that's the 2-player type of version too, and I really like that game. Okay, so that's great. That was one of yours.
One of my, and as I said, I tried playing it last week. So
I didn't take the box down. I could have taken the box down for these, but one that I love, and this came out by Fantasy Flight Games in 2007, but it's called Tribune. And Tribune is just this lovely worker placement game that you're collecting sets and you're trying to influence. Tighten your buttocks.
Sorry. I just wanted to relax.
And Tribune, you're trying to influence these different the plebeians or the gladiators, or all the Vestal Virgins. You've got the senators and all of these different ones that you have, and you're collecting these cards, and it's kind of an interesting set collection that you have with these cards, so that I think it's the lowest card, or is it the highest card? I forget, but you total up these cards, and there's an expansion for that game too, and I just love that game. It's one of my games that cries out to me, play me, play me. I want you to play me again. And I look at it and want to play it again. Tribune.
Okay, my second game from 2007, which we were actually going to play yesterday. I wanted to get Globe Twister onto the table instead. So sorry, Paul. But it's a well-deserved sorry, because it's Galaxy Truckers. Galaxy Truckers came out in 2007 and is still in my collection and is still a fun just chaotic game where you're building a spaceship with one arm and with tiles, and you're trying to make your spaceship survive a journey through space where all these asteroids are coming at you and pirates are attacking you, and you just got to be well prepared and have a good laugh. It's just such fun watching your well crafted spaceship get destroyed, and annoying when your daughter starts crying because she's dead. But that's the fun of the game. That's where the fun is. The crux is watching your construction fall apart. You put your pride into it, and then you laugh as it falls down.
This is a crossover for me. So Galaxy Trucker was on the top of my list as well. This is the game that you love to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had more fun seeing our ship fall apart because you think you're being smart. You think you're going to get those lasers pointed the right way, or you're going to have the right amount of energy, or you don't know if those space pirates are going to come and land, or if you're going to be able to zoom past them. And it's I love that game. They have an iOS app for Galaxy Trucker too that has just this comical little interaction with the characters that's kind of like the rule book that has this whimsical little fun feel. So while it is competitive and you can use the timer if you're we don't get too uptight about the timer actually, but it's just way too fun.
I love twisting that timer over as soon as it runs out. It really freaks out all the other players. They're like, no.
Hurry.
Like, yeah, because I played against a friend and they love filling up every single square of their spaceship and having so many guns and so many engines and bits and bobs. And I'm just like, no, it's finished. Come on. Time up. And they're like, I've got 3 spaces empty. And it's like, no.
I bought most of the expansions and for the different ships and all that kind of thing, and the extra cards that you can get where the aliens and you can get the warp alien and then the plasma alien.
I've got the expansions, but I've never used them because we just enjoy the base game as it is. There's just the right amount of rules and complexity in the game, and fun from the random decks of cards that you generate as well. It tides us over every time.
I feel like it's a classic. CGE did such a great job. Even Board Game Geek, they even actually had a Galaxy Trucker poster in their framed artwork series that they have. That's how iconic I think it is.
Yeah, maybe Forrest Bauer should buy one of them. Cover up his National Treasures poster.
I actually wouldn't mind getting one of those. I've thought about that in the Blood Rage one. But I made a custom Hobby Lobby box with all my Galaxy Trucker stuff in it and made my own insert for it basically, and kind of tricked out the storage of my Galaxy Trucker. But I haven't played the live version. I've played the iOS version, but I haven't played the live version for a couple of years. So
yeah, I just going back to fishing. I got a little fishing box with all the pieces in.
Yeah,
which is really awkward to get those little energy gems out. They're really small, round. You
they roll off.
Hook them out. But yeah, okay. Yeah.
I love it.
Okay, so I stole your thunder with that game.
No, that's fine. So you do your third one.
No, you do your third one because I think we can have another crossover.
Well, we might. This third one is one of our family's favorite games. And this is back when, I've been a gamer since high school, grew up on the Milton Bradley, Shogun and Axis and Allies and Fortress America and all that wonderful stuff. But then there was a period of time where I wasn't playing games, young kids, working hard, all that kind of stuff. But then all of a sudden, Days of Wonder started coming out with all of these games, Ticket to Ride and Memoir 44. And for every Christmas, we would buy these games. And back in the day, believe this or not, they had a special at Christmas where you buy one, get one free.
Ooh.
You signed into their website to do this, and then you'd get this code and you'd go in there and you'd get 2 games. So we bought every Days of Wonder game that there was. Every year we'd be buying 2 of them for Christmas. Well, this particular game is our family's favorite Days of Wonder game. and you're building little shows that you're putting together, and you're going to present these shows to get points, and you're going to level up your Coliseum. Excuse me. So Kabuki Kid, you're right. Coliseum. We love this game. It's just there's an auction element in it that has a wonderful player interaction, because you're going to bid on these different lots of things that you need for your show, and you need that particular guy. Otherwise, you're going to get negative points for the particular show you're trying to put on. So there's this great interaction. The game generally plays pretty smoothly. I love the way the track works with the senator and the emperor and all of that they're moving around, and you've rolled dice, but there's different combinations of how you can do it. So it's one of the better roll and move type of implementations, in my opinion.
Okay.
But anyway, Coliseum to me is just brilliant. Now, Tasty Minstrel Games came out with a new version. Honestly, I don't like the graphic outlay of the new version at all, but the game plays great. And they did a few things that changed, and I'm so thankful they brought it back. If Days of Wonder wouldn't have brought their original version, but once you've played the original, to me, just everything is better about it. So I have a hard time playing the new version, but it's still the same game,
Yeah. Okay. I thought you were going to talk about Jamaica.
I was, and then I thought, I know what you're going to do, and so I decided not to do it.
It was a tough call for the first three. But yeah, I'm going to say Jamaica, because it is the game that hits the table the most here. It's a fantastic roll and move game with pirates going around an island.
Arr.
Arr.
You know why pirate jokes are funny, don't you?
Because they be funny. That's why. Now, so in Jamaica, everything is so perfect about the game. The components, the rules, the rule book could have been a rule book instead of a rule map, but hey ho, it's thematic and it works. It's just a fantastic family game. Just racing around an island. You'll play it once and you'll probably want to play it again immediately. This goes up to 6 players. And I love the carnage that it throws as players land on the same squares and battle each other, or players confuse in their heads the symbols on the cards and then put them the wrong way around, and then they think they're going forward 4 spaces and back 1, but they're actually going forward 1 space and back 4. And those kind of things that happen to me a lot. I love this game. It's fun. It's colorful. And I read something about it the other day. I think another publisher's taken it over, and they're bringing it back, but I can't recall. Yeah, Jamaica, one of the most fantastic games from 2007. But there are some more. And maybe
I was amazed at how many good games are in 2007, because I love Jamaica too, so I could easily put that on the list. But yeah, there's a plethora. Yeah, Pepe, what is a plethora?
It's a leth of pleth.
But there's an amazing amount of games that came out in 2007. So as we increase into the depth of the Woods of Evergreen, we are going to see it more and more that there's a lot of games that we can choose as we look into the Woods of Evergreen.
It's going to get harder to pick our 3 evergreens, because I think there's going to be years where it's like there's too many evergreen titles here that are just perfect.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Well, we're going to move on to our the Babble topic.
We are indeed. Somewhere. That's not the Babble topic. Oh, my pictures have gone. Someone's closed the wrong file. You're going to have to imagine there's a picture of 2 monkeys on the screen.
Oh, no.
Because now it's time for the Babble, 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 Babble,
Board game Babble. Well, on the Babble topic today, we are talking about in the waiting. We're talking about wait times in games and what makes us wait. How do we feel about it? All of those kind of factors. And we'd love to have some conversation in the chat about how you feel about that. We have several questions that we've written here, but we kind of just go off the cuff. So, but one of the things that we are talking about is, how do you feel about wait time between your turns, that time where you're waiting till you get to play next? And how do you feel about that?
Well, recently I had my best friend round, and we were going to play some games. We're actually going to go see him this weekend as well, and hopefully things will go smoother that time, because we both have young children, and for the four of us to sit down and play a board game with one old child and two very young children is very, very, very hard, as they want affection, or they want feeding, or they want changing. And so waiting sometimes between turns can be a little while, as diapers are being removed or bottles are being heated. And that was quite a disastrous day. But if it's a normal group of people that we're playing with, it can be quite annoying, especially when they are doing other things instead of playing a game.
Yeah, there's a lot of things we can talk about this. You know, Kabuki Kid makes a really good comment. She says,
she always makes a very good comment. I think,
yeah,
she's come on the show.
Come on the show. Come on the show. Formal invitation. Come on the show, Kabuki Kid.
Yes,
yeah, we'll make her an offer that she can't refuse.
You're going to rip your blouse. I'll rip my blouse for you, Kabuki.
No, that won't impress anyone.
Carry on with your diet, and then no problems.
But she says, I have no problem with downtime between turns when it's normal. When it takes 3 hours to get a game of Lords of Waterdeep played, something, though, is very wrong. Laugh out loud.
Yeah.
So I think that has what she's making the point of. If the game really can be played in an hour and it takes 3 times as long as it should, then there's something wrong. It's overly excessive.
Yeah, and I was just working out our 30-minute game of Quantum took 2.5 hours. So that's 5 times longer. Yes.
Well, and Rick Ortloff, makes that if it's a strategy and tactics that have to be considered, I like the downtime. If it's pretty much straight up and simple to play, it can make the game drag.
Yeah. And I know that I've played a few games where there have been players that dragged the game out longer than it was supposed to be, and I lost purposely just to get away from the table and those people, due to the fact that I'm there to have fun, and if I'm not having fun because someone is playing to win and win by a great expanse, then I don't want to know. I'm just there to play and have fun.
Let me ask you a question. When you sit down to play games, are you in a hurry to play the game?
No, because I will joke and blag and comment. When we played Jamaica together,
yeah,
we'll just go off and do a little skit on the side. We'll improvise and do weird stuff, but we're still playing the game and we're entertaining. Whereas someone who's just sat there deliberately not thinking about their turn until it's their turn, and then spending an awful lot of time going through everything without very little communication, can be dull, boring, and and there's only so many times you can tell pirate jokes, because they are.
There's times that we go to game night, for instance, and you've got a certain amount of time that you've allocated, but you really want to get a certain number of games in. And so sometimes people are like, yeah, I know like Trey Lennox is a really good friend of mine. He lives down in Dallas. He hits BGG and Dice Tower. He goes to all these conventions. He's incredibly astute gamer, reads rules really well, really quickly, like my son Josiah, just an amazing gamer. But when he goes to these conventions, he's on a mission. Now, he's not, I don't want to infer that he's difficult to play with at all, because he's not. He's delightful. He's not impatient or anything of that nature, but he has a goal. And this last BGG, I think he had a goal like to play 20 games.
Wow.
And so he's on a mission. So in a sense, he might be in a hurry because, hey, I want to get at it. I don't want to set time screwing around. I want to get through these games that I want to play. I'm like you, Barry. I'm not in a hurry. I like to get as many in as possible, and I'm very much like Kabuki Kid. I don't want to drag it on for the sake of dragging it on or just not paying attention. Yeah. I don't care for that. You hear about people doing so many different things too. You know, I'm guilty, especially since Game Toppers launched. You know, I'm like a Pavlovian dog when I hear my email go off because I either got to respond to a customer service or a question or something like that. Excuse me. And so my phone is always on me. But then I love to take pictures of the different components, and we're usually tricking out the game. And so I take that moment to take pictures and take a picture of the group and things like that. And sometimes just even having the phone around, even to take a picture, just drives people nuts.
Yeah, that's strange. The only thing I'm hurrying with is if I'm explaining the rules, I want to get people playing as quick as possible. Normally with rules, I'll have it all planned out beforehand, what I show them at the beginning and what I don't show them at the beginning, because it needs to be integrated later on. So for me, the only thing that I hurry with is getting through the rules explanation so players can get playing immediately, whether I'm playing or not. So
yeah, try to make that concise, because you can sit there for a 45-minute rule explanation and then all of a sudden
you don't want to play.
Well, yeah, people's eyes are glazing over, and it's like, okay, we just got to play at some point here, because I can't gather it all. But it depends on the game that you're playing, and I'm you know, a couple people have already talked about players that are AP, and so their analysis paralysis, as we say in the hobby. When it gets to their turn, they just have to analyze every aspect because they want to make the perfect move. And that can cause a game to go on and on and on. But sometimes, I mean, it can be a personality thing, but sometimes is it just the people who are prone to that? Or is it actually the way the game is designed that causes that?
I don't think a game causes you to AP. I think it's a case of players playing so they don't look stupid. So they play the game and they have a good score, maybe a winning score, and they don't want to come off as someone that's got, you know, like 10 points out of 50.
Well, I might disagree a little bit with you on that, because I think some games have design elements that are less player interactive, so that you can't make your move. You can't be thinking about what you're going to do on your turn, because too many things change. Kabuki Kid mentions 5 tribes, and that's exactly one that I was thinking. I've got a buddy who I love playing with him, and I never mind waiting for him to make his choices. It's never out of bounds. But when we play 5 tribes, he just locks up, because there's, you know, well, okay, I'm going to do this. I want to do this. But by the time it gets around to you, you can't do anything. You're just waiting till it gets around to you. And then all of a sudden, everything's changed. So you really can't pre-plan that much. You can try to.
You can. Yeah, you can plan a certain amount. I've played 5 tribes, and as soon as I finish my turn, the next player's playing. I'm thinking about my next turn, and then I watch what they do and see if it changes my plans. If it changes my plans, I look around and see if there's another route.
I can't remember my plans after 20 minutes.
Yeah, but nor can I. But that's the fun of the game. It's like, okay, right, was it this green one I was going to move? And so, as I said, I play for fun. So, yeah, fudge it. I'm moving it. There you go. It's done, right? If I've moved the wrong one, if I've made a mistake, I don't care. I'm there to have fun.
I think you know, and when you're talking about AP, you know, I don't know, there's certain games that for me they just click, and that I don't have to think much about. I know what I want to do. And they're designed in a way that it doesn't cause me to overthink it too much. But there's other games that just flat out make me feel stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm playing it and it's like, oh, I don't know if that's a good move or not, because I could do that and I could do that. And if I don't do that, that's going to hurt me next turn. And
a lot of it is about, I think, people, how they want to fit in with the community and come off as a good player. Because with a board game, it's simple. You have X amount of rules. If you have a game which you have 5 actions to choose from and you perform 2 of them, you don't need to spend ages thinking about it. You don't need to spend a lot of time contemplating it. You just go, well, that guy needs to move, so I'm going to move, and that's one action, and then I'm going to attack. That's the second action. There you go. I'm done. But it's people that go, okay, I'm going to do that first, and then that first. Okay, then they do it, and they do the action. They go, no, I didn't want to do that. Oh, can I go back?
Yeah, but my point is people process differently. You know, depending on the type of game that you normally play, a beginner, for instance, they're not going to process gaming as quickly as those of us that are more familiar with all these different mechanics. And so, you know, I'm finding the older that I get, I have much harder time remembering all the rules of all the games I have. And so for me, even to get back into, oh yeah, that's what I want to try this time I play the game. Well, I haven't played it for so long. I'm in a place where I'm still trying to remember what I kind of want to do with this game, or different things I want to do with it.
Yeah.
And so that can cause a slowdown, if you will. Well, I'm like you're saying, I don't want to be that guy that's slowing down the game for other people. No. But I don't want to just play haphazardly and not make smart moves.
I do. Because I know that I can always play the game again. If I like the game, I'll play it again. It's not the end of the world. It's not life. You can make mistakes in a board game and still live, but people take it too seriously. People will make a mistake in the game and then they get frustrated because I could have done that. I've done that. I've been frustrated by moves that I've made, especially when I'm playing against my friend Guillaume, who always beats me. There have been times when I got frustrated at myself, but at the end of the day, it's a game. I'll play it again. I'll try and remember that rule. I'll try and remember to look at my character's power and remember that I can kick his ass when he does that to me. You know,
well, you know,
just that feeling stupid. I'm going to lose. I don't want to lose. I want to look good. I want to be the best. A lot of that plays into a lot of gamers and why they overthink things.
Yeah, I don't really feel like that. It's more that I don't want to hold up or cause someone else to have not as good an experience.
Yeah.
But it's not because I have to win. When I was younger, I think I was much more competitive in gaming. And so those decisions were more important. Whereas now I'm much more willing to make a decision that might not be optimal. Where I think where it comes down to, though, with games that are, I was just thinking about, I just lost it. I was just thinking about games that, I just lost my train of thought.
Okay.
But anyway, there's certain games that are designed in a way. Oh, that's what I was thinking. Games where you have to pay attention to other people's tableaus. Well, the older I get, the harder that has become for me, partially because of vision. I'm having a hard time seeing anything that has small print across the table. And so then I have to ask that person, what is that? And then I have to try to remember what it is while I'm still trying to formulate. And that causes a delay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I try not to pay attention to other people's player boards, basically, and just play my own thing. Well, that's not optimal.
No. But at the same time, you're playing the game and you're getting a feel for the game. I've played many games. I used to play Agricola like that. It's like I'm not looking at what anyone else is doing and what they want. You just concentrate and you're in your own little world. I'm building a farm. Woo, this is cool. Yeah. And it's not till you've played a few times and you've gotten used to it and you've lost many times as well that you start thinking, right, what have I done wrong? I know what I'm doing wrong. I'm not remembering my powers. I'm not remembering to look over to see what they want. And that's when you adapt. It's like anything. You gotta walk before you run. And players that hold up the game are trying to run before they can walk. And
well, when we bring back to the idea of how games are designed, I love it when games are designed when it's not your turn, you still feel involved.
Yeah.
Now, whether that means that it's an auction, I guess I love auction mechanics. You know, I love bidding.
Every game, you're still involved. You're watching what the other player is doing and seeing what their strategy is and seeing if you can outsmart them or take something away from them or are they vulnerable right now? Should I attack them? They are all practically interactive. So you're not just thinking about what you're doing. You've got to be thinking about what they're doing.
You know, Kabuki Kid is bringing up some comments too. You know, back in the war game days, you used to sometimes be able to walk off and go get something to eat while their opponent did their turn. And that's very true when we're playing Axis and Allies, you know, those type of things. Because you really, I mean, there were certain games that you literally waited 20 minutes before you could do anything. Because everything was dependent on what they did before you could really do it. Now, if you really enjoy just sitting there watching, my one friend, Barry, not you, but Barry Seidel, he plays games. He loves just watching people play games. So, you know, whereas I tend to lose interest a little bit. Kabuki also said that Imperial Settlers has that problem too with remembering everything that's going on in front. You know, you've got different tableaus, and it was that Vikings Gone Wild game too.
Yeah.
You know, where you're deck building, but you're watching what they're doing. And I find that those games, I like those games. I still play those games, but I find they tend to slow things down.
Yeah, they've got to be games that you've played a lot. You know the rules back and forth, and the other players do as well. And so it has its own natural pace. And then there is no pause, there is no slowdown, even though there may be a big, 5 minutes of head scratching each turn. You don't feel it because you know the game.
We've been having more and more discussion with our player groups that, hey, we just want to play games that we already know so that we can just get at it right away.
Yeah.
So there's a situation where we all know the game, so we don't have the learning curve of either revisiting the rules or even needing to learn a new game, but we already know the game, and that causes us, we already have ideas of how we want to play and how to react to what other people are doing. And so by playing games more than once with the same player group, that's going to cause a speed play, if you will, that's very enjoyable.
Yeah.
And you take a group of players, you take 4 of us that all know a game really well, and then you bring a new player into it. Those people that know the game really well, I can see where they get frustrated because it's like, we know, let's go. Because we all know, but then all of a sudden we have this flow that is disrupted.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same when I play Splendor because I'm very competitive. I know the rules. I know how to plan out my strategies, and so I may take a little longer taking my turn, but as soon as I've taken my turn, I've got the next turn planned. And as I said, if someone disrupts my plan by doing something else, I read that plan and go to plan B or plan C. I might have plan C already planned, while plan B's not even being touched. So yeah.
So do you adapt then your play style to the group that you're playing with? If they're a group that really wants to play fast, you just play fast. And if it's a group that wants to horse around, you horse around. Or
I horse around and play fast. I do both every game. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's Imperial Assault or if it's Quirkle. I'll do the same. I'll horse around and play fast. played an 8-player version of Imperial Assault for the first time in my life. And, you know, while you're waiting for players to take their turns, I've got my plans already laid out, and my turn comes, boom, I'm doing this. Your turn.
So you get impatient with people that play slow then?
I don't get impatient. If I see that they are deliberately wasting time by going through every possible conundrum in their head and also moving things and then taking them back, that really pisses me off. It's like, I'm here to have fun and play a game. This is not fun. I'm not here to be Winston Churchill and decide whether Lancashire town should be bombed, even though we know that the Germans are going to bomb it. I don't, you know, it's out the door. I mean, if I'm playing that type of game, then yes, I will take a bit more time and consideration into, you know, account. But mainly, a game is fun. A game is life. We're getting old, and I don't want to die at this table. You know.
Yeah, I think I adapt personally. You know, if I notice a group that they seem impatient, I'm not gonna put them off by playing slowly just because I want to play slow.
And again, intelligent people do think fast, and they do take their turns pretty fast. I know a guy in my group. He's hyper intelligent. He will thrash us at every game. You play a game, you might play a game 5 times, and he's never played it before. You teach it to him, he will thrash you.
I don't find it fun, however, when I'm playing with people who are persnickety. When persnickety, they're just all uptight. If you'll hurry up, would you? You know, just got to go. Let's go. And I mean, you can't crack a joke. You can't do anything. You know, they're just in a hurry to play the game, and they're rules lawyers about everything. Everything has to be so precise and done perfectly. You know, it's Emily Post rules of gaming, and you know, I'm not that formal. And so if I get around a group of people who are persnickety, I remember playing this one game of, it was the Academy Games Thief. And we played that BGG, but I was playing it with, it's a long game, but I was playing with some war gamer type folks, and they were just nasty. I mean, you couldn't even think about anything. I mean, they were just, and I was like, you know, I think I'm just going to exit this table. I never did do that, but that's how I was feeling. Yeah. And then the one guy that didn't get what he wanted, he just walked off. Yeah. And, you know, and so I wasn't taking any time at all, but they're people that are persnickety. They're just all uptight. Now that I hate playing with that kind of grumpy person. I'll endure the game, but I probably won't play again with them if they're that way. You know, everything has to be precise because I'm in it to have fun too. And if we can't interact with one another, you know, to me, you know, when I'm sitting down to play a game, it's not about me winning the game. It's about the experience that we're going to have together playing the game. Yeah. And so I want to get to know people. I want to interact with them. Now, not to the point where it's just all screwing around and the game goes awry. You know, so it's a matter of degree.
Okay. I want to move on to your next comment, which says chatty people. I have one of these in my game group. She's an 87-year-old dame. 87. Wow. Okay. So she comes to the game group to socialize. And the one game that she plays is Quirkle. It's Quirkle. I've tried teaching her other games about the same, but it's just Quirkle she's latched onto. But she will talk, and it'll be her turn, and she'll be talking about something about the tiles on her roof. And it's like, come on, it's your turn, play something. And she oh yeah, sorry, okay. And then she'll ask someone behind her who's watching her play, or she's talking to, she goes, oh, what do you think is the best ones to play? So she's not really playing the game at all. She's just there to talk, and she's asking advice of what to play and where to put it. Yeah, we love her. She's sweet and cute and adorable, but she's not a gamer. You teach her a game and it go in one ear and out the other, and she'll have 50 questions, and she'll have 200 different lines of conversation at the same time. I don't know if that's what you meant by chatty people, but that for me is a chatty person, someone there who wants to talk about their life while playing the game, but not actually playing the game, and spending more time giving you a documentary and a tour around their innards. When I say innards, I mean the innards of their.
Yeah, I'm chatting with Rick Ortloff because he's played quite a few games with me, and I asked him the question, "Am I AP?" I can answer the question whether I'm chatty or not.
You're not chatty.
Yeah, I've played a few games with you. Do you think I'm overly chatty?
No, you're my type. We have a joke, and there may be a little pause between turns, but then we get back into the game. And you were. I noticed you were quite a little bit AP with King and Assassins, but you won. And that was, it was good.
Yeah, and that was first play.
Yeah, so first play.
Learning the game. Yeah. I don't think that I'm overly AP, but I think there's certain games that do make me think longer because I'm not getting it or something on a first play. Mm-hmm. It feels like to me, and I don't know if this is for anybody else, but it seems like it takes me about the second or third or fourth turn before I really start to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Now, my son will read the rules. I don't read the rules, so I'll sometimes watch a video, but generally he reads the rules, explains the game, and so he already knows how the game is played, and he's already picked up the strategy before he's even played it. Well, I'm not quite that quick.
No, I'm the same. It takes me a while. Some games I don't even know what I'm doing till the end. I'll just do the basic actions which I've learned. Again, the other thing you got to think about is I'm being taught games in French, which is not my natural language. Sometimes I might misconstrue a word, or I might miss out a phrase because I was trying to translate the last phrase. And so again, in the politeness, I may ask a question as the rules will be explained, but normally I keep my mouth shut because I think I know what they're talking about. Just to keep the rules going, and so the game can get to the table and I don't piss anyone off. So,
well, and I think when we asked that one question where we went right to the, is it the designer's fault or the way the game is designed versus the player? We've got a lot of different player personalities and different skill levels of players, but then certain games, I think, really do lead us to maybe it's just a matter of difficulty level. Also, and when you're picking a game, I pick a game that I feel is at the aptitude level for the group. Mm-hmm. So if I'm playing with my wife and my daughter Gabby, they like more family weight games. I'm not going to pull out a really heavy duty. I'm not going to pull out Western Trail probably with them or Kanban, or something of that nature, because it's just they're going to glaze over during the rules.
Mm-hmm.
They're not stupid people. They're very intelligent, but that type of learning curve for that type of game, it's just not in their aptitude range of what they would want to do.
No.
So I wouldn't pull that out. I probably feel like when we talk, there's so many amazing heavy games now.
Yeah.
Some of them, like Kanban, everybody was talking about how heavy it was, and Panamax.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those games, just like immediately, oh, this is great. This is awesome. I can do that. Boom, 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 boom. I was right on it. There's other games that I sit back and went, oh my goodness, I just couldn't get it.
Mm. Yeah, I think you're kind of right. There are some people that have a different way of processing a puzzle, which is what a game is. Some people can pick things up pretty, like my friend Gutierrez, I said he can thrash us at everything. He picks up things like that, and he can see a strategy, and he knows what action he's going to do, 5 turns before he's going to do it. Whereas some people, they will get to a puzzle and they will be trying to figure it out, and they would think, oh, what should I be doing? And instead of just like what I do, play an action, no matter what the consequence is, they do think about it and analyze a little bit too much.
Yeah, I think it's okay to, well, you tell me what you think, but if you have a player who is really bogging the game down, and everybody pretty much knows that. How do you think is the best way about communicating that, in a thoughtful way?
In a thoughtful way. I keep thinking of my 2.5-hour game of Quantium, where there were 2 players holding up the game. You just gotta. I make jokes about it. I look at my watch and I go tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Oh, I say, why don't you just move that here? Or I give them advice if I think they're stuck.
Yeah, that could go good or bad, right?
Yeah, I know, but I don't care. I'm there to have fun. The group that I'm with, they know me and they know what I'm like, so they accept me for my bad jokes and my piss taking. So
if it's a group that I don't know very well, I won't say anything. We'll just do the best we can with it and try to hurry along.
Yeah.
But if it's a normal group or something and something's going on, personally, I tend to not want to confront them. I always will confront issues if they need to be confronted, but I tend to be careful before I do that. But then I want to do it in a thoughtful way where they're not embarrassed, where they're not feeling shamed or anything of that nature. But then I like to take them aside and just say, it'd really be helpful if we could kind of move things out. So-and-so's got to leave earlier. We only have 2 hours to get this in. And so let's just try to get this done well. And if it just becomes we have one young fellow that comes to the library game night, but this kid will just go on and on about different things, and it'll just take so long that it just drives everybody nuts. And finally you just had to say something. Yeah. And so that he could understand it, and yet without demeaning him and without shaming him,
Yeah. I was trying to think of times when I've had to do that. I have said, look, this game is taking too long, because we were all learning it together. No, we weren't learning together. The guy that was teaching us knew the game, but they were taking more time to do their actions than what I was, and I barely understood the game. And so I said, look, do you mind if we just play just a couple more turns? Because I've got the gist of the game. I just wanted to feel what it was like. And is it all right if I leave? And so I could walk away, because I didn't want to spend another 8 turns after taking 2 turns, which are half an hour, playing this game with someone who was definitely AP in the game. They've played it before. I hadn't played it. They were just doing everything. You're just there to have fun. You just got to you got to find your own way. You got to gauge for yourself that person there. Are they going to be able to laugh at your jokes when you say, "Oh, my heart, I'm dying"? Are they going to kick up a fuss if you leave the table? Are they going to be someone that's can you speak to them and say, "Look, can you just speed things up again? I've got to catch a train tonight unless you don't want to finish this game." You have to gauge for yourself. There's no right or wrong way of doing it. It's a case of gauge the people at the table, maybe explain at the beginning of the game that you like to play games like this. Hopefully, after watching this video, everyone in the whole wide world will know that I'm there to play and have fun, and I'm going to make lots of mistakes at the table. So you're going to win anyway, so it doesn't matter. We just want to play the game, have a laugh, and move on. There's lots of games to be played.
I think the bottom line is we want to have fun playing games, and so we want to be considerate of others, and that goes both ways.
Yeah.
If you feel that you're playing a little slow and you can kind of catch that drift from other people, you can read people's body language if they're getting irritated. And if I sense that to us, listen, I'm sorry, I'm playing a little slow here. I'm not quite getting this. Do you have a recommendation or something like that? And sometimes just by doing that, as me feeling that way or sensing that vibe, that settles everything down, and then everybody relaxes a little too and say, okay, we need to help him a little here or whatever.
Yeah. So should we have a new rating system for board games? AP prone.
Game all night. Chris says new game topper feature, buzzers that we put in your seat. Yeah.
But wait a minute, there's another thing. Isn't it worse when there's a player at the table, you're waiting for them to make their move, and then they turn around to you and say, "Is it my turn?"
Yep.
Yes.
Well, I've been guilty of that too before. Sometimes you don't notice how quickly someone made a place.
Yeah.
Made a play, and then all of a sudden everybody's waiting for you, but you don't realize it was you.
You were expecting them to move their figure, but they actually just played a card and you didn't see it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, my game playing days, I'm more distracted than I've been in the past as well. Just have so much going on in my head that my game playing, I think I feel that way a little more. So I have to really try to concentrate to be in the moment and tune out distractions. Yeah. At conventions, this is a good point too. You're at a convention. We need to wrap this all up, but you're there and you're sitting there playing again, and then people come over and greet you.
Yeah.
And I've done that to other people where I've seen them and I've went over and greeted them for whatever reason. Maybe they're just good friends and you haven't seen them in a long time and you want to catch up with them before you miss the opportunity, but you're in the middle of a game, and sometimes that can really annoy the heck out of people. When they're sitting there. Okay, now we got to stop because we got to do this little friendship banter.
Yeah. It's even worse when you're teaching the game and people come up to you and interrupt you. It's like,
yeah.
Or when you're teaching the game to a group of people and someone else comes up and asks you a question.
Well, I think as you do the convention circuit and you become where you have more friends and more people, that kind of thing, that exacerbates that. I sometimes just really like to go play in those small rooms off to the side instead of in the main gaming hall, because the noise sometimes can affect my attention. Yeah. The hum, depending on what's going on in the room, just the amount of people that are milling around you and things of that nature. Yeah, and then
half-clad, naked, opposite-sex people. Yeah, that's very distracting.
That's the problem with BGG. That convention, they sponsor nudity, and it's not right, but they do it anyway because it sells badges. So my wife and I are on this beach in San Marco Island, and we go walking down. All of a sudden, you see three people. They're out. The one guy's fishing, and he's butt naked. He's just hanging out, literally, and he's fishing. And and down in Florida, they all got wrinkled butt skin. And
they all got wrinkled butts. I would never watch a Downtown video again.
Kabuki Kid says nudist gaming.
Oh, you're gonna have to make a support on your game topper for that.
Rick didn't know that was an option. Black tie optional. Yeah,
now we know why you were taking your time. You were waiting for.
Yeah, at first it was kind of a what, and then it was like, wow, okay, let's just move on. Oh, that was good fun. Yeah. Well, that's our Babble topic in the waiting. Tell us what you guys think. We'll put together a poll and get your opinions on things that make us take more time in games. Barry will come up with a brilliant poll that you'll be able to interact with that. It's really been a lot of fun getting together and kind of go just back and forth. We've had guests on the shows the last few shows, so we've been able to talk about the Woods of Evergreen and some of the favorite games from days gone by and some games that we've gotten to play. So it's really been a great time talking to you.
Yeah, it has. And thank you everyone in the chat. So Kabuki, Chris, Game All Night, Scott, Paul, Rick. Have I missed anybody?
Yeah, there's Ben.
Oh yeah, Ben was there.
Ben's in the house. Yeah, there's somebody else. Yeah.
You guys make this show a bit more fun as well, because otherwise
absolutely
I've got to put up with this boring old fart.
Yeah, I love it. I love the interaction of the live show. I know it's not as well produced, but it's I love that. But I love what you do on our post production, because I'll listen occasionally to our iTunes show, and the quality of the drops and the editing and everything you do, Barry, is
spot on, like in real life.
Yeah, it's really awesome. Seriously, if you haven't had a chance to listen to our show, check it out on iTunes. Check it out on Stitcher Radio. You can go to Board Games Everybody Should. There's a great page there, or BoardGameTheater.com that isn't updated as well as it should be.
Or you can go to Board Game Geek in our guild there.
2248. Board Game Geek Guild 2248.
And that's where the poll will be, and that's where we post where our next episodes are going to be. Obviously, we're both very busy people, and we're both different timelines, so our shows will be sporadic at best.
Yeah, that's right. And as convention season hits too, Game Toppers, we are going to be doing another Kickstarter that we're scheduling in April, and so things are going to get a little hairy for me. I will do my best to make time to do the show, of course, but that's going to be a all-in time frame for me. But I'm sure
Game Expo is going to be a time-in thing for you as well.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that.
Or shouldn't I mention that?
No, we're still working on the details of that, but hopefully we'll be at the Board Games Expo at the end of May. We'll be at Origins. We're going to be at the Gamma Trade Show in Dice Tower West. Of course, we'll be at Gen Con. We'll be at Dice Tower Con. We will be at Essen, Germany, Board Game Geek Con, and PAX also. So Kabuki Kid says, making even bigger tables, Berkey. I heard a rumor. Yeah, we actually have some pretty cool stuff on the way. I'll give you a little tip. We have a new model called the Moriarty. And Scott Alden has the first one for their Board Game Geek TV that they use at their portable show. And it's a 48 by 48. So it works perfect for round tables and square tables. In addition, we have a 2-foot leaf that will turn it into the Mycroft. And you can even make it to go to a 8-foot by adding an additional 2-foot. So very, very exciting.
I'm looking forward to the Jack the Ripper model where you can put like 6 dead bodies on it.
Underneath it. No, you can do that with the box. Our boxes are so big, we call them a 2-body box.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a lot of fun. Send us out there, my dear friend.
I will do with my finger on the button. Thank you everyone for watching. See you around. And where's that screen share?
We're so glad we had this time together. And now it's time to go.
That one.
It won't be long until we have another show.
There it is.
So keep us in mind. Get online. Berkey and Badger will be back
in no time.
Oh, good man. You took the